Hello and welcome to my journey. Everyone shows you the dream, the 900 euro apartment, the sunshine in February, the pastel dinata for 90 cents, the slower pace, the friendlier people, the feeling that you finally made the right decision. And honestly, most of that is real. But here's what nobody puts in the YouTube video, the cost that hit you before you even unpack a single box. The one that don't show up in any cost of the living in Portugal article. The one we had to learn the hard way. We moved our family to Portugal, and between the planning, the move itself, and the first 3 months of settling in, we spent thousands more than we expected. This video is everything we wish someone had told us before, so we could have booked that one-way flight. The first hidden cost isn't even a bill, it's the time. And time when you are trying to run a life and possible work remotely is money. Portugal's bureaucracy is legendary and not in a good way. To legally live here, you need an IF number, a bank account, and eventually your residency permit. Sounds straightforward, but it is not. Then, if that's your Portuguese tax identification number, used to take a single afternoon. Now, depending on where you are and what time of year is it, you could be waiting weeks for an appointment or paying a lawyer or relocation agent to fast track it for you. And that's the cost people miss. Relocation agents in Portugal typically charge anywhere between 300 euros to 1500 euros, depending on what you need. And if you have a family of 4, then the cost is multiplied by 4. Then there is the bank account, because you need one to rent a property and you need an IF to open the account. It's a circular thing. And unless you know the workaround, you will be paying for someone to hold your hand through it. Let's talk about renting, because this is where most families get their first real shock. You have seen many listings: 3-bedroom apartment, 850 euros a month, lovely area, good school nearby, looks perfect on paper. But here's the actual cost of securing that rental. In Portugal, landlords typically ask for 1 month's rent, last month's rent, and security deposit of at least 2 months. So before you sleep a single night in that apartment, you are handing over almost 3 to 4 months rent upfront. That's somewhere between 2500 to 3500 euros just to get the keys. And that's assuming you found the place yourself. If you used an agent, which many families do when searching from abroad, you will often pay 1 month's rent as the agency fee on top of that. So you are potentially looking at 4,000 to 5,000 before you have bought a single plate or a single light bulb. Speaking of which, furnished apartments sound ideal, but reality in Portugal is mixed. Many so-called furnished apartments have the bare minimum: a sofa that has seen better days, a bed frame with no mattress, curtains but no washing machine. We spent close to 600 euros in the first month, just filling in the gaps of a furnished flat. Small appliances, a proper mattress topper, a clothes drying rack because the dryer didn't work, kitchen basics, cleaning supplies. None of that was in any budget calculator we found online. If you're coming from UK, there's a good chance you are thinking about bringing your car. It seems logical. You already own it. You know it. You trust it. Here's the problem. Importing a vehicle into Portugal triggers a tax called ISV, Imposto sobre Veículos, which is basically a vehicle registration tax. And it's not small. Depending on the age, engine size, the emissions of your car, you could be paying anywhere from 1500 to over 5000 to register a foreign vehicle here. If your car is older, sometimes it's simply not worth it. We know families who sold their UK car before the move and bought something locally. That brings its own cost, but it can be the cheaper route overall. Then there's the toll system. Portugal has an electronic toll system called Via Verde. If you are just arriving and driving around without it set up, you can unknowingly rack up toll charges on motorways that seem completely free to drive on. No booth, no barrier, just a camera that clocks your plate. The bills come later. And if you are in a rental car or a recently imported vehicle that isn't registered yet, Sorting out these charges become its own headache. Budget for transport surprises. Whatever you think your car situation will cost, add just a 30% on top of it. Portugal has a public healthcare system, the SNS. And eventually, as a legal resident, you are entitled to use it. It's genuinely decent, particularly for routine and emergency care. Most families we know had private health insurance for at least the first 6 to 12 months, and private health insurance for a family of 4 in Portugal typically runs between 150 to 350 euros a month, depending on the coverage, age, and provider. That's potentially 4,000 euros in the first year that people simply don't factor in. And then there's the pharmacy. Medications that were free or nearly free on the NHS in the UK, in Portugal, you pay for them, at least until you are registered and have your national health number. Basic prescriptions, kids' medications, anything you were used to getting cheaply at home, budget for out of pocket costs in those first few months. Then comes the part of shipping your belongings to Portugal. This is one where people consistently underestimate by double. We have heard every version of this story. Someone gets a coat, think it's sorted, then watches the final bill land and feels slightly ill. A full container shipping from the UK to Portugal typically costs between 3,000 to 6,000, depending on the volume, company, and how quickly you need it. A partial load or a shared container can be cheaper sometimes, 1,500 to 2,500, but then you are waiting, sometimes weeks, sometimes longer. And here's what: the initial quote usually didn't include the pickup fees, the packing material, if you use their team, the custom paperwork, the delivery to your specific address, especially if you are not in a city, the stair surcharge, because yes, that's a thing. Then there's the emotional cost of this decision. Many families go through a ruthless declutter before the move. Sell things, donate, throw away, and then spend the first 3 months in Portugal buying replacements they wish they would have kept. Whatever your shipping quote is, add 800 to 1200 as a buffer. It is almost never the number in the email. This is the category nobody talks about because it's boring, but it's where the money quietly disappears in the first 90 days. Internet setup. In Portugal, broadband contracts typically require a minimum 12-month commitment. The plans themselves are reasonable, 30 to 50 a month, but if you arrive and need internet immediately before your contract starts or before the installation date, you are running on mobile data. International roaming, local SIM, top-ups, Wi-Fi dongles, it all adds up to phone contracts. If your children are going into Portuguese state school, the supplies list is genuinely affordable. But the first year there's PE kit, specific stationery, the school trip fund, classroom contribution. Small individually, but a family of 4 children could easily spend 300 to 500 in September alone. And then there's the thing we call the comfort fund. The first weeks in a new country, in an unfamiliar home, with tired and sometimes overwhelmed children, you will spend money on comfort, a dinner out to reset the mood, a day trip because everyone needed it. These things don't fit in the spreadsheet but are completely necessary. We are not telling you this to talk you out of Portugal. We would make this move again tomorrow. The quality of life, weather, the pace, the safety, the food, the sense that your children are growing up better and different, it's all real. But we moved here with our eyes open and we want you to do the same. The dream is achievable. It just costs a bit more to get there than the algorithm wants you to believe. If this video helped you, there's a full monthly budget breakdown on this channel showing exactly what our family spends every single month. Real numbers, real categories, nothing held back. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. We post every week, and if you have a question, drop it in the comments.